Welcome back to the Rise Room. I'm Tashi, and today we're diving into the power of boundaries. So, what are boundaries? Simply put, think of them as an invisible line you draw to protect your feelings, your time, and your energy. Boundaries show others how you want to be treated, what's okay, and what's not. So here's what boundaries look like in real life: saying no when something doesn't feel right to you, asking for space when you need a break, letting people know what's off limits, protecting your peace and your well being. So, in short, boundaries help you take care of yourself and help you keep your relationships healthy. Now, here's something wild. Most of us weren't taught boundaries, we were taught endurance. We learned to stay quiet instead of saying no. We were praised for tolerating things we should never have accepted, like always hearing, "She's so strong," "He never complains," "She's always there." Sounds like a compliment, right? Nope. That's code for "you're easy to use." Let me say this loud and clear. Write it down, post it, tattoo it if you need to. If me protecting my peace offends you, you're benefiting from me having none. I used to be the always available friend. No matter how exhausted, how busy, or how falling apart I was, someone would call me with their crisis, their issues, and boom, I would flip into therapist, coach, rescuer. And I remember one day after class, I was sitting in my car crying, full on breakdown after a terrible day. And then my phone rang, and I was getting another call from one of my girlfriends about her man. And even though I was falling apart, I took a deep breath and I just listened. She never once asked if I was okay. But here's the truth: she wasn't the villain in that story. I had trained her to believe my needs came second. And a year later, I finally said, "Hey, I love you, but I can't be your crisis center 24/7. Before we dive into your baggage, can you ask me for once, like, do I have space for it?" And she paused and was like, "I didn't even realize that I was doing that." But in that moment, something changed with us. Most people aren't malicious. They're just used to you not having boundaries. But here's what that leads to. According to American Psychological Association, 68% of adults feel emotionally exhausted because they struggle to say no. A study in the Journal of Mental Health found that people with weak emotional boundaries were 3 times more likely to report anxiety and burnout. And a global survey by Mental Health America found that over 70% of people avoid setting boundaries out of fear of conflict, yet nearly all of them end up resenting others because of it. So if you've ever said yes while dying to say no, trust me, I've been there too many times to count. So let's make this practical. Let's talk about what boundaries actually sound like. And yes, you heard that right. I personally had to go to therapy to talk and learn about how to set boundaries because no one taught me. I had to unlearn overgiving and practice protecting my peace. And here's what it looks like in real life. You tell someone, "I'm not available to talk after 9. They still call or text you late at night anyways. You tell someone, "I need space to recharge." They keep pushing you to hang out or to respond to them immediately. You tell someone, "Please don't bring up that topic. It's sensitive for me. It puts me in a place that I don't like to be." They bring it up anyways. To add to it, they even make it into a joke. You say, "I can't lend money right now. I'm not at that place financially." They guilt trip you or even keep asking you until you cave in. You say, I can't take on anything extra this week or at this time. They say, I'll only take a few minutes, and they pile it on anyways. Oh, and every single one of these examples have happened to me in real life, and I'm sure they've happened to you. Now I know some of you are still hesitant. What if they get mad? What if they think I don't care? What if they leave? And here's what I learned the hard way. If someone gets angry at your boundaries, they weren't loving you. They were loving the access they had to you. Healthy people adjust. Unhealthy people guilt trip. And you have to choose accordingly. In fact, studies show that 80% of people feel less stressed when their boundaries are respected. Why do you think that is? That's not a coincidence. It's mental health hygiene. If you're wondering where to begin, here are some ways to practice setting boundaries. Because I know it's hard. Get clear on your limits. Take a moment to identify what's actually draining your energy or what's making you uncomfortable. And go a little further as to writing those down if they help you. Start small. You don't have to jump to the extra big stuff at first. Practice saying no to little things, like declining extra tasks or saying no to a late night text or a late night call that's, runs into your time. Use I, say things like I feel overwhelmed when, or I need some time too. This is personal to you. You don't need to blame others. Pause before you react. If you're caught off guard, it's okay to say, let me get back to you on that. Give yourself some time to decide on your boundaries calmly instead of in the moment. Practice self-compassion. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, and that's normal. You're used to giving everything, and now you're trying to establish a sense of, giving back to yourself. So you're going to feel a little bit weird about it. So be kind to yourself as you learn this new skill. And seek support if you need it. Sometimes talking to a therapist, which I did, a coach, or a trusted friend can give you tools and confidence to hold your boundaries firmly. And you need that. So for this week's Rise Challenge, pick one person who consistently drains you. Set one clear boundary, say it, text it, voice note it, but don't over-explain it. Don't soften it with nervous laughter. Don't apologize. Try this. Hey, just a heads up, I'm not taking calls after 9 p.m. anymore. I'm protecting my wind down time. That's it. Drop the mic, walk away. My sleep comes on at 9:30 every night because I need to get my rest, So that's a boundary that I set, So remember this, boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges. They're instructions for how people should love you correctly. The right people will walk across that bridge with respect. The right people will be so proud of you. They will be so supportive of you. They will be so proud of what you are doing and how you are just establishing this crazy, enormous thing and this feat. And the wrong ones will complain from the other side. And I have had both people, so I understand completely. And that's your confirmation. Who's gonna stay and who needs to go? You do not need to compromise your boundaries, your desires, what you need for your well-being, for your health, what you need for yourself. You do not need to overcompensate. You do not need to overgive. You do not need to stretch yourself thin to feel loved. So thank you for hanging out with me for another episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs it. And if you ever feel bold, tag me and tell me what boundary you're setting this week. Because this is how we heal out loud. Until next time, protect your peace, stay soft, stay stronger, and rise up. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.